Marcus Hale lived alone in the thick green jungle for 3 long years after his small cargo ship crashed on this unknown world. The ship broke apart high above the trees, and he fell with the burning pieces into soft, wet mud that saved his life. He crawled out bruised and bleeding, but still breathing. He found water and fruit and made a shelter from broken metal and vines. No rescue came. No signals reached anyone far away. He learned to hunt small, fast animals with a sharp stick and a sling made from old seat straps. He avoided the big predators that roared at night and left deep claw marks on tree trunks. The people who lived here called themselves the Lirani. They had smooth skin that glowed soft blue and green in the dark. Their eyes were large and bright, like polished stones. They moved quietly through the trees on wide paths they kept clean. They built homes high in the branches, with platforms of woven wood and living vines that held everything together. They spoke in soft singing, voices that carried far over the water. Marcus watched them from hiding many times. He saw them fish with thin nets and gather sweet red berries from low bushes. He never came close. They looked at him once from far away and ran back to their village with quick, frightened steps. They called him the Hairless Walker, a thing that moved wrong and made too much noise. Marcus did not mind being alone most days. He fixed what he could from the wreck. He built a small still to make clean water from rain. He grew a few strong roots in cleared dirt near his cave. He kept a fire small and hidden, so smoke would not rise too high. He talked to himself sometimes, just to hear a human voice. He told old stories from Earth about wide oceans and tall cities and fast ships that crossed stars. He laughed when he remembered how he once thought space was empty. Now he knew it was full of places like this one, full of life that did not need him. The rainy season came hard that year. Water fell every day. Sheets. The river near his camp grew wide and angry. It turned from clear green to thick brown mud that rushed fast and loud. Branches and whole trees floated past like broken toys. Marcus stayed close to his cave most days. He repaired his torn clothes with thread pulled from old seatbelts. He sharpened his knife on a smooth stone. He waited for the rain to slow. One morning, the storm grew worse. Wind pushed water sideways through the leaves. Thunder rolled long and deep. Marcus went out anyway to check his fish traps along the bank. He wore no shoes because the mud sucked them off long ago. His feet were hard now from walking on roots and stones. He carried a long pole to steady himself when the ground turned soft. He heard something over the roar of the river. It was a high, sharp cry, like a bird in pain, but different. He stopped and listened. The cry came again, weaker this time. He moved closer to the edge, where the water crashed white against rocks. It was a Lirani child, a girl with thin arms and glowing skin that flashed bright in panic. She held a broken branch, but it slipped from her hands again and again. The river pulled her under, then pushed her up. She coughed and reached, but found nothing solid. Marcus looked around. No other Lirani stood on the banks. No warriors came running with ropes or poles. The village sat too far upstream, and the storm hid all sounds from that direction. The girl would drown soon if no one helped her. He dropped his pole. He pulled off his heavy jacket and tied a strong vine around his waist. He looped the other end around a thick tree root that grew out over the water. He tested the knot with a hard pull. It held. He took one deep breath, then jumped into the cold brown flood. The current hit him like a wall. It dragged him sideways and down. He kicked hard and fought to keep his head above the surface. Water filled his mouth and nose. He coughed and swam toward the flashing glow of the girl's skin. She went under again. He reached out blind and caught her wrist. Her arm felt thin and cold, but strong. She pulled back in fear, then grabbed his shoulder when she saw he was not the river. Marcus wrapped one arm around her small body. He used his legs to push against the bottom, but the mud gave way every time. He swam hard toward the near bank. The water pushed them both downstream fast. He saw a cluster of thick roots ahead, hanging low over the surface. He aimed for them. The girl clung tight now. Her glow pulsed fast like a heartbeat. A huge log rolled toward them, carried by the flood. Marcus turned his body to shield the girl. He took the hit full on his side. Pain exploded in his ribs. He grunted but did not let go. The log spun past, and he used the last of his strength to grab the roots. He pulled them both up, inch by inch. The girl helped now, pushing with her legs against the bank. They reached the muddy shore. Marcus fell forward, with the girl on top of him, gasped air. He lay still for a moment, feeling the rain hit his back. The girl shivered hard against him. Her skin felt colder now. Her glow dimmed to a faint flicker. He sat up slow. Pain stabbed his side with every breath. He looked at her. She stared back with wide, frightened eyes. Her arm bent wrong below the elbow. Broken, he thought. He spoke soft words she would not understand. He pointed to himself, then to her, then made a lifting motion. She nodded once. Marcus stood and lifted her in his arms. She weighed little, like a child from Earth, but her skin felt smooth and cool, like wet silk. He carried her away from the river, through the heavy rain, toward his hidden cave. The path felt longer than usual. His ribs hurt more with every step. Water ran into his eyes, and mixed with sweat and mud. When they reached the cave, he set her down on dry moss, near the small heater he kept running on old battery cells. He lit a lamp made from ship lights. He found his medkit and opened it. The mud from her face and arms with a cloth. He looked at her broken arm. It swelled already. He took 2 flat pieces of metal from the wreck and tied them tight with cloth strips to hold the bones straight. She cried out once, but did not pull away. He gave her water from his canteen. She drank slow, then more. He warmed some soft fruit mash over the heater and fed her small bites. She ate, then closed her eyes. Her breathing slowed to something calm. Marcus sat back against the wall. He felt every bruise and cut now. The rain still pounded outside, but inside the cave felt warm and safe. He watched the girl sleep. Her glow came back steady and soft, like a nightlight. He wondered who she was, and why no one came looking yet. He knew one thing for sure. He could not leave her here alone. He pulled a blanket from his pack and covered her. He sat close with his back to the wall, ready to wake if she needed him. The storm raged on, but for the first time in 3 years, his cave held more than one heartbeat. The current hit Marcus like a giant fist made of water and mud. It pulled him down fast and twisted his body in every direction. He kicked hard with his legs and fought to keep one arm around the small glowing girl. Her skin flashed bright blue, then dimmed as she went under again. He reached out and caught her thin wrist this time. He pulled her close to his chest so the river could not tear her away so easy. Water rushed into his ears and filled his nose. He could not breathe right. He turned his head sideways and sucked air when a wave lifted him up for half a second. The girl coughed hard against his shoulder. Her small hands grabbed at his shirt and held tight like she knew he was her only chance. Marcus felt the vine around his waist pull tight. It stretched but did not break. He used it to guide himself toward the bank, even though the current wanted to carry them both far downstream. A big branch floated past fast. He kicked away from it, but another log came right after, rolled heavy and dark. Marcus saw it too late. He turned his back to take the hit and protect the girl. The wood slammed into his ribs with a loud crack. Pain shot through his side like fire. He grunted loud but kept his grip on her. He felt something give inside his chest, but he did not stop moving. The vine pulled him sideways now toward the thick roots that hung low over the water. He reached out with his free hand and grabbed the first root. It felt rough and strong under his fingers. He pulled hard. The girl helped too. She pushed her legs against the muddy bank and kicked to give them more power together. They moved inch by inch up the slick roots. Water poured off them in streams. Finally, Marcus got one knee onto the root mass. He lifted the girl higher and set her on a flat spot where the roots made a kind of shelf. She lay there coughing and shaking. Her glow pulsed weak now like a candle in wind. Marcus climbed up after her. His arms burned and his ribs screamed with every breath. Lay next to her for a moment. Both of them gasped air like they had never tasted it before. Rain still fell hard, but the roots gave some shelter. Marcus looked at the girl. She stared back with big bright eyes, full of fear and wonder. Her skin color shifted slow from bright panic blue to soft green. She tried to sit up, but her left arm hung wrong. It bent in a place arms should not bend. Marcus pointed to it gentle. She nodded and made a small pained sound. He stood slow. Every move hurt worse than the last. He untied the vine from his waist and used it to make a loop around a higher root, so the girl would not fall back in if she slipped. He picked her up again, careful this time. She was light, but cold. Her body shivered against him. He carried her away from the river, through wet ferns and low-hanging branches. The path to his cave took longer, because he moved slow to keep from jarring her arm. Rain soaked them both again, but he did not stop. The cave sat hidden behind a curtain of thick vines. He pushed through with his shoulder and stepped inside. The air felt dry and warm compared to outside. He set the girl down gentle on a thick bed of dry moss he kept near the back wall. He lit his small lamp with a flick of an old ship switch. Soft yellow light filled the small space. He opened his medkit fast. It was one of the few things he saved from the wreck. He pulled out clean cloths, antiseptic spray, and a roll of strong tape. He knelt beside her and spoke soft words, even though she could not understand. He showed her the spray first. She flinched when it hissed, but did not pull away. He cleaned the mud and small cuts on her face and hands. Her skin felt smooth and cool, like river stones warmed by sun. Her broken arm worried him most. The bone looked out of place under the glowing skin. He took 2 flat pieces of light metal from an old panel in the wreck. He placed them on each side of her forearm like splits. He wrapped them tight with cloth strips, then added tape to hold everything still. She cried out once, sharp and high, but then bit her lip and stayed quiet. Her eyes stayed on his face the whole time. When the arm looked safe, he found his canteen. He filled it with clean water from his still earlier that day. He held it to her lips. She drank slow at first, then faster. Her throat moved quick. She finished half the canteen and looked stronger already. Her glow came back steadier now, bright enough to light the cave walls a little. Marcus felt his own body start to shake from cold and pain. He moved to his small heater. It ran on old power cells, but still gave good heat. He turned it up higher. The warm air spread slow across the cave. He sat close to the girl, so she could feel it too. She watched the heater glow red with wide eyes. She reached out one good hand toward it, then pulled back fast when heat touched her fingers. He smiled a little for the first time that day. He pulled a blanket from his pack. It was thin, but clean and warm. Over her small body, she pulled it close and curled up under it. Her breathing slowed to something calm and even. Marcus watched her for a long time to make sure she stayed safe. His ribs hurt bad now. Every breath felt like knives. He pressed one hand to his side and felt the place where the log hit. Something moved wrong under the skin. Broken ribs, he thought. He had tape and pain pills from the med kit, but he saved the strong ones for later. He wrapped his own chest tight with a long cloth strip to hold things in place. It helped a little. Outside, the rain kept falling hard. Thunder rolled far away now. The storm moved on slow. Marcus sat with his back against the cave wall. He kept the lamp low, so it would not use too much power. He ate a small piece of dried meat from his pack and chewed slow. The girl slept now. Her face looked peaceful. Her glow pulsed soft like a heartbeat. He thought about what happened. He did not plan to jump in that river. He just saw a child in trouble. Moved, no Lorani came to help. Maybe they feared the water too much in storm. Maybe they thought spirits took her already. Whatever the reason, he was the one who pulled her out. Now she slept safe in his cave because of it. He wondered who she belonged to. Maybe some family waited upstream, worried and searching. Maybe warriors would come looking soon. He knew he should take her back when the rain stopped. But right now she needed rest and warmth, and he needed time to think through the pain. The cave felt different with her in it. For 3 years it held only his own breath and his own footsteps. Now another heartbeat filled the space, small and steady. He listened to it mix with the soft hum of the heater and the distant patter of rain. He closed his eyes for a moment, but stayed awake enough to hear if she woke or needed him. Night came slow. The storm grew quiet outside. Stars would show soon if clouds moved away. Marcus stayed where he was, back against stone, eyes on the sleeping girl. He knew tomorrow would bring new problems, questions from her people, maybe fear, maybe thanks. He did not know. But tonight she breathed easy, and that felt like enough. He pulled his knees up and rested his arms on them. His side throbbed steady, but he ignored it. He watched her glow rise and fall like waves on a calm sea. For the first time in a long time, the cave did not feel empty. He sat guard through the dark hours, ready for whatever came next. The girl slept through most of the night. Her breathing stayed steady, and her glow held soft and even. Marcus watched her from his spot against the wall. He did not sleep much. Pain from his broken ribs kept him awake every time he tried to shift position. He drank water and chewed a pain pill from the medkit. It dulled the sharp edge, but left him tired and slow. Morning light came gray through the vine curtain. Rain stopped sometime in the dark. Hours passed quiet, except for the drip of water from leaves outside. The girl woke slow. She opened her large eyes and looked around, first confused, then afraid. She sat up fast and pulled the blanket tight around her shoulders. Her splinted arm stayed close to her body. She stared at Marcus like he might disappear or turn into something worse. He raised both hands, palms out, to show he meant no harm. He spoke slow and calm words she would not know. He pointed to himself, then said his name, Marcus. He pointed to her and raised his eyebrows in a questioning gesture. Question. She watched him careful, then touched her chest with her good hand and made a soft sound. Lyra. Her voice came light, like wind through thin branches. She said it again, Lyra, then pointed at him, Marcus. He nodded and smiled small. She did not smile back yet, but her glow brightened a little. Less blue fear, more green calm. She looked at the cave walls, then at the heater, still warm. She touched the metal splint on her arm, gentle, like she tested if it hurt less. It did. She made a small surprised sound. Marcus stood slow. His ribs complained, but he ignored them. He went to his small food stash. He pulled out dried fruit mash and some soft roots he boiled yesterday. He warmed them over the heater, then offered her a bowl made from a ship panel. She took it careful, with her good hand. She smelled the food first, then tasted a small bite. Her eyes opened wide. She ate faster after that, finishing the whole bowl. He gave her more water. She drank it all. While she ate, he tried to talk more. He used his hands a lot. He pointed outside, then made swimming motions, then pointed to her and shook his head. No more danger. She watched closely and copied some of his signs. She pointed to the river, then made a pulling motion like he had done to save her. She touched her chest. then his arm, and nodded slow. Thank you, he thought, even if the words stayed different. He had a small device from the wreck. A translator patch, old and cracked, but sometimes it worked. He pressed it to his shirt near his neck. He spoke simple words. Hello, I am Marcus. You are safe now. The patch hummed soft, then sent out a low tone. Lara tilted her head. She spoke back in her singing language. My name is Lara. You pulled me from the river spirits. The device crackled and gave broken pieces. Marcus, river, pull, safe, Lara. The words came rough, but close enough. They tried more. She told him pieces of her story. She lived in the River Clan village, high in the canopy trees. Her father led the clan. Songs to keep the water clean. She went to gather glow fruit on the high bridge when rain made it slick. Her foot slipped. The river took her fast. She thought the spirits wanted her back. Marcus listened and nodded. He understood more than the translator gave. He saw fear in her eyes when she spoke of home. She missed her parents. He knew he needed to take her back soon. The rain stopped, and the river would drop lower by afternoon. He packed a small bag with water, fruit, and extra cloth for her arm. He showed her he would carry her if she needed it. She shook her head no, and stood on her own legs, shaky but strong. She wanted to walk. They left the cave together. Sun broke through clouds and made wet leaves shine bright. Marcus walked slow beside her. He kept one hand ready in case she stumbled. She looked at everything new. The path he used every day seemed strange to her. She touched tree bark and smelled flowers along the way. Her glow stayed steady green, now calm and curious. Followed the river upstream. It ran quieter today, brown but not angry. Birds called from high branches. Small animals darted away when they heard footsteps. Lyra pointed to things and named them in her language. The translator caught some riverstone, glowvine, skywing. Marcus repeated the words back, clumsy, but she smiled, the first time a real small smile that showed sharp little teeth. After a long walk, they reached a place where the river bent wide. A wooden bridge crossed high above water, but broken now from storm. Lyra stopped and stared at it. Her face changed, sad and small. She pointed across and said, Home Clan Village. Marcus looked up. He saw platforms in the trees, glowing soft with many Lyrani moving between them. Lights flickered like stars caught in branches. Voices carried down, singing soft and worried. Lyra stepped forward, then stopped. She turned to Marcus and took his hand with her good one. She pulled gentle. Come, she said, through the patch. Come see my home. Head slow. Not yet. He wanted to leave her close, then slip away quiet. No need for them to see the hairless walker up close. They feared him too much already. But Lyra would not let go. She held tight and sang a short song high and clear. The translator gave pieces. Current breaker sent by river. Must come with me. Parents wait. The words felt big, heavier than he liked. He tried to pull back gentle, but she would not release his hand. Her eyes looked up at him full of trust, and something more like she knew a secret he did not. From the trees, voices answered her song. Lyrani warriors appeared on the near bank. 6 tall figures, with thin lances that glowed at the tips. They moved fast, quiet. Their skin flashed bright warning colors when they saw Marcus. They raised weapons and called out sharp words. Lyra stepped in front of him, arms out. She spoke fast, loud. Her voice carried over the water. The warriors lowered lances slow, confused. More Lyrani came down from the platforms. Ropes dropped, and figures slid smooth to the ground. A tall female with deep violet glow pushed through first. Her eyes found Lyra, and she cried out loud. She ran forward and dropped to her knees. She wrapped arms around her daughter and rocked her gentle. Tears fell bright, like liquid light. The father followed, taller, broader. His glow burned strong orange. He stared at Marcus over his mate's shoulder, eyes wide, not angry, but stunned. Lyra pulled free from the hug. She pointed to Marcus, then sang again. The translator tried. River gave him to us. He fought current, broke bones for me, kept me warm, fed me. The parents looked from her to him, then back. Their faces changed slow. Fear turned to wonder. The mother stood and walked close. She reached out one hand and touched his arm, light, like she tested if he felt real. Marcus stayed still. He did not want to scare her. The father spoke. Deep voice, calm. The translator caught only parts. Void Walker, Current Breaker, Lyra safe because of you. Lirani villagers stood silent, watching old ones with long vines in their hair, young ones holding hands. All eyes on the human who stood muddy and bruised beside their lost child. Lyra tugged his hand again. She looked up and said one clear word through the patch. Come. The mother nodded slow. The father stepped aside and made a path with his arm. Marcus felt every eye on him. His ribs hurt, his clothes hung wet and torn. But the girl held his hand tight like an anchor. He took one step forward, then another. They walked together toward the ropes that led up to the glowing village. Lyra stayed close, her glow bright now, like morning sun on water. Marcus looked up at the canopy homes and felt something shift inside him. For 3 years he stayed hidden. Now the river pulled him into the light, and he could not turn back. The group moved toward the glowing canopy village. Lyra held Marcus's hand tight with her good one. Her parents walked close, one on each side. The mother kept touching Lyra's face, gentle, like she still could not believe her daughter lived. The father looked back at Marcus often. His eyes held wonder mixed with something deep and careful. Warriors flanked them, silent but ready. Their lances stayed low now, no longer pointed at the stranger. They reached the base of the great tree. Ropes hung thick and strong, woven with glowing vines. Lyra stepped to one rope and showed Marcus how to hold it. She climbed first, slow because of her splinted arm. Her glow lit the way up like a lantern. Marcus followed next. His ribs hurt bad with every pull, but he kept his face still. He did not want them to see weakness. The mother came after, then the father. Last, the warriors climbed smooth and quick, like they did it every day. Higher and higher they went. Platforms appeared between branches, wide, flat spaces, covered in soft moss and woven mats. Homes sat like nests around the trunk, some round, some long, all connected by swaying bridges of vine and wood. Lights hung everywhere, small orbs that floated gentle and gave off warm colors. Blue, green, violet, orange. The air smelled sweet, like flowers and rain, and something Marcus could not name. They reached the main platform, the largest one in the center. A crowd waited there. Hundreds of Lirani stood quiet. Their skin glowed in patterns that shifted slow, like waves on calm water. Old ones with long silver vines in their hair, young ones holding smaller children. All eyes turned to Marcus when he stepped onto the moss. He felt tall and wrong among them, his rough clothes torn and muddy, his skin plain, no glow, no shine. He stood still and let them look. Lyra pulled him forward. She spoke loud and clear. Her voice carried over the platform. The translator patch on Marcus' shirt hummed and tried to keep up. River took me, spirit sent him. He jumped in. His body, to save me, carried me, kept me warm, gave me food. He is current breaker. The words spread through the crowd like wind. People whispered soft psalms, short phrases that rose and fell. The mother stepped beside Lyra. She raised both hands, palms up. Tears fell from her eyes, bright like falling stars. She sang a long note, high and sad, then soft and thankful. The father joined her, his deep voice mixed in. They sang together a song of thanks for the river gift. The crowd answered. They lifted their voices too. The sound filled the canopy like music from everywhere at once. Marcus felt it in his chest. It made his skin prickle. An old Lirani came forward. She moved slow with help from two young ones. Her skin glowed faint silver, her eyes cloudy but sharp. She carried a large crystal, clear and smooth like glass, but alive with inner light. She held it up high. The crystal caught every glow around it and sent rainbows across the platform. She spoke slow words. The translator caught in pieces. Oracle speaks. Void Walker came. River hunger lost. Child returned. Balance restored. The old one touched the crystal to Lyra's forehead, then to Marcus' chest. The crystal flared bright white for a moment, then soft blue. It hummed low. Marcus felt warmth spread from the spot where it touched him. The old one nodded once. She turned to the crowd and raised her arms. The people knelt, all of them at once, even the warriors, even the parents. They touched foreheads to the moss in the oldest sign of respect, given only to those who walk with spirits. Marcus stood alone now, taller than ever. He looked down at the bowed heads and felt strange, not proud, just surprised. Lyra stood up first. She took his hand again and pulled him to stand beside her parents. The mother reached out and touched his scarred cheek, gentle, her fingers cool and soft. She spoke words the translator gave. You are welcome here, always. The father placed one hand on Marcus' shoulder, firm but kind. He spoke deep. You fought what we fear. You brought life where death waited. Our home is yours. The crowd rose slow. They came forward one by one. Some touched his arm light. Some left small gifts at his feet. A woven band of glowing vine, a smooth river stone polished bright, a handful of sweet glow fruit. Children peeked from behind adults, then ran close to stare at his strange flat face and lack of glow. One small boy reached out and touched Marcus' hand, then laughed when it felt warm and solid. Night fell slow. The canopy lights grew brighter to push back the dark. Fires burned low in stone bowls. Food came on large leaves, nuts, soft breads made from tree sap. Fish caught fresh from calmer waters. Marcus sat with Lyra and her family. They ate together. He chewed slow because his sides still hurt. Lyra fed him small pieces with her good hand. She smiled more now, her fear gone. After food, the singing started again, soft at first, then stronger. Songs about the river, songs about the Void Walker who laughed at death, listened. He did not sing, but he tapped his foot quiet. The parents watched him close. They asked questions through Lyra and the patch. How did you live alone so long? Why did you jump in the river? What are your people like? He answered simple. I survived because I had to. I jumped because she needed help. My people are far away, but we help when we can. They listened like every word mattered. The mother cried again, soft, happy tears. The father nodded, slow, like he understood something big. Lyra leaned against Marcus' side, her head on his arm. She looked sleepy, but content. The platform felt warm, full of light and voices. Later, when most went to sleep, the parents led Marcus to a small platform near theirs. A new nest waited there. Fresh moss, thick blankets, woven vines for walls. A small heater orb floated gentle in the center, like the one in his cave. They showed him the space. Yours now, they said through the patch. Rest, heal. We watch over you. Marcus looked at the soft bed, the glowing walls. Quiet night. He thanked them, simple words that felt small next to what they gave. He lay down slow. His ribs ached less now, wrapped tight and resting. The sounds of the village faded to soft hums. Wind moved through leaves like breathing. He closed his eyes and thought about the day. He came to return a child, quiet and quick. Instead, he walked into songs and gifts and bowed heads. He did not ask for worship. He just did what any person would do when they saw someone drowning. Yet here he lay in a place that felt like home, even if it was not his. Lyra slipped in quiet. She curled up near him on the moss, her glow soft and steady. She whispered one word, "Current breaker," then slept. Marcus watched her for a while. Her small chest rose and fell calm. He pulled a blanket over her, then lay back. Stars showed through gaps in the canopy, bright and far. He felt the pull of something new, not just survival anymore, something bigger. The village slept around him, lights dimmed slow, the river sang far. Below, quiet. Now, no anger left. Marcus closed his eyes at last. His body hurt, but his mind felt clear. Tomorrow would bring more questions, more songs, more eyes on him. But tonight he rested in a place where one act changed everything. He saved a girl from water. Now her people looked at him like he carried light in his hands. And maybe in some way he did. Months passed slow and steady in the glowing canopy village. Marcus stayed in the small nest they built for him near Lyra's family platform. He woke each morning to soft songs from below and the gentle sway of branches in the wind. His ribs healed bit by bit. The pain faded to a dull ache, then to nothing. He moved easier, climbed ropes without wincing, and carried heavier loads when the clan needed help. The Lyrani treated him different now. They no longer hid or ran when he walked the bridges. Instead, they greeted him with bowed heads and soft words. Current breaker, they called him every time. They left gifts at his door. Small baskets of fresh glow fruit, polished river stones, woven bands that glowed faint in the dark. Children followed him at a distance, then grew brave enough to touch his hand and laugh when he smiled back. Lyra's parents showed the deepest change. Her mother came every dawn. She lit thin sticks of sweet wood outside his nest and let the smoke rise slow. Quiet prayers for his strength and long life. Her father asked Marcus to join him on hunts, not to hunt, but to walk beside him. They moved through the lower jungle together. The father pointed out safe paths, hidden water sources, and signs of big predators. Marcus showed him tricks he learned alone, how to set simple snares with wire from his wreck, how to find dry wood even after rain, how to build stronger fish traps with crossed sticks. One day the father stopped by a wide pool. He looked at Marcus long and serious. He spoke words the translator patch caught clear. You came from stars, yet you stay. You give without asking. You ask nothing in return. Our people have stories of spirits who walk among us, but none ever stayed to teach. The river chose well when it sent you. Marcus listened, quiet. He had no good answer. He just shrugged and said, I like it here. The father placed a hand on his shoulder, firm and warm. Then they walked back in silence. The village changed too, because of Marcus. Their old water channels leak and flood low fields. He used metal scraps and strong vines to fix them better than before. Water flowed steady now. Crops grew taller and greener. He taught them how to boil water over fire to kill sickness germs. They listened careful and tried it. Soon fewer children fell ill with fever. He showed the young ones how to make simple bridges with crossed logs tied tight. Storms came later, but the new bridges held where old ones broke. Lyra grew stronger every day. Her broken arm mended straight under the splint. Marcus took it off one sunny afternoon. She flexed her fingers and laughed loud when they moved free. She ran across platforms, jumped over small gaps, and climbed high ropes like before. But now she always looked for Marcus first. She pulled him to see new things, a nest of bright birds, a hidden grove of sweet berries, a deep pool where fish flashed silver. She called him friend, brother, guardian, all in one breath. The worship grew quiet but steady. Loud ceremonies, just small daily acts. Old ones touched foreheads when he passed. Young mothers asked him to hold their babies for a moment, so the child would grow strong, like the current breaker warriors, left their best spears outside his nest, not to use, but to honor. At night, songs rose from the main platform, ballads of the man who laughed at the river, who carried a child through storm, who stayed when he could have gone. The voices carried far and made Marcus stop and listen every time. He never felt easy with it. He told Lyra once, when they sat alone on a high branch, looking at twin moons, "I am just a man. I did what anyone would do." She shook her head slow. "Not anyone. Only you. The river tested many, but you answered." She leaned against his side, warm and small. He put an arm around her shoulders, careful, like she was glass. In quiet moments, he thought about Earth, about ships, about faces he once knew. He missed some things. Coffee, real coffee, wide open skies, without leaves in the way. But here he found something else. Purpose, maybe. Belonging. He fixed things. He taught things. He kept people safe. In 3 years alone, he survived. Now he lived, and the living felt fuller. One evening, the whole clan gathered on the main platform. They built a great fire in a stone circle. Flames danced high and turned faces gold and orange. The elders called Marcus to stand in the center. Lyra walked with him, hand in his. Her parents followed, proud and calm. The old silver-skinned one stepped forward. She held the large crystal again. It glowed soft inside her palms. She spoke loud for all to hear. "River gave us a gift. We give thanks. We build a place to remember the current breaker, who came from void, who fought water, who stayed to guard." She turned to Marcus. "You may go if you wish. No rope holds you. But if you stay, we offer home forever." The crowd waited silent. Even the fire seemed to hush. Marcus looked around at faces he knew now. Lyra squeezed his hand tight. Her mother wiped bright tears. Her father stood tall and still. Marcus felt the weight of their trust. It sat heavy, but good. He thought of the river, the cold pull, the small body he would not let go. He thought of empty years in a cave and full days here. He took a slow breath, then spoke simple words. "I will stay." The platform exploded in song. Joyful, loud voices rose together. Hands clapped, feet stomped, branches shook with the sound. Lyra jumped up and hugged him hard around the waist. Her parents came close and wrapped arms around both of them. The old one touched the crystal to his chest again. It flared warm, light spread through him, like sunlight on skin. Later, when the fire burned low and most went to sleep, Marcus sat with Lyra on the edge of the platform. They looked down at the quiet river. It flowed gentle now, silver under moonlight. She rested her head on his shoulder and whispered, "Current breaker." Marcus smiled small and answered, "Just Marcus." She giggled soft and said, "He looked up at stars he once crossed to get here. He thought about humanity, stubborn, tough, refusing to quit when someone needed help. One man, one dive, one child saved. Now a whole people looked at him different, stronger, kinder because of it. He did not save them with weapons or machines. He saved them with hands that would not let go, and a heart that said no one drowns today." The moons climbed higher. The village slept around him, lights dimmed to soft glows. Wind sang through leaves like a lullaby. Marcus felt peace deep and real. For the first time since the crash, he belonged somewhere. He closed his eyes and listened to Lyra's steady breath beside him. The river murmured below, calm and content. He knew tomorrow would bring more work, more songs, more small gifts. But tonight he rested easy, in a world changed by one simple act of not looking away. And somewhere in the stories they told under glowing canopies, the name Current Breaker lived on, long after the man himself grew old. Reminder that heroes do not always come from legends. Sometimes they come from crashes, from jungles, from a raging river, and a choice to jump in when no one else would.